This is The Front Stretch on AM 590, brought to you by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Welcome back to The Front Stretch. This is the Fast Five in The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. Get down to Joe's today. Get yourself some fast-paced white-knuckle racing, where the only speed restriction is how fast you are. Everything going good down at Joe's Karting for you guys this year?
We're going pretty good, but every week you open this up, it's time for the Fast Five. Me and Andrew are fast. You're not fast. You're one of the slow three.
I've been holding out for a while. I just want to bring this up, that the one time you and I raced each other, I beat you.
I haven't seen proof.
I've got proof in a file in my house, and I know Rich could print that sheet off again for me. So
2 words: Photoshop.
Photoshop, yeah. And I'm going to change it at the Joe's Karting because Rich has got it on file too.
I don't think Rich has it.
He's over here sweating right now. I didn't know this. Dan beat you?
No,
Dan did not beat me.
All truth be told, the agreement between the two of us was he would let me get a lap in. And then he said, I'll bet that before the end of the race, I can get my lap back and pass you again. Took him 6 laps to get around me, to get back on the lead lap, but he never got more than 5 feet away from me after that.
Okay, we will settle this right now. Yes, on paper, he did beat me. That's only because I passed him, got out of my cart, pointed on the spot of the track where to go to. He did that, and then he beat me to the checkered flag.
You didn't have time. It was so funny. Everybody at Joe's was just blown away because, listen, I held my own finally.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, Fast Five. Why don't you take number 1?
J.J. Yaley moving to TBR. J.J. Yaley announced on Wednesday through his Twitter account that he's going to be making the move to Tony Baldwin Racing in 2013. Yaley is currently racing for Robinson Blakely in the number 49 car, but there is no word on what car he's going to be driving for Tommy Baldwin. Baldwin's only got the 10 car out there on a consistent basis, so that might mean that David Rudiman is out of a ride.
That could be, and going from Blakely to Baldwin, to me, I would imagine that's a step up.
I would think so. And Baldwin's a good guy. He's good. They've got some equipment issues, but that's what happens when you're an underfunded team.
If I had my choice between Rudiman and Yaley, I'm taking Yaley.
That's because you don't like Rudiman.
I don't know.
I like any driver.
J.J. Yaley had his time in the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing when Tony was winning all of his races, and there's a reason why he's not racing at Joe Gibbs Racing anymore.
Did he have Hamlin's crew chief? No.
Darian Grubb? No. Okay, but he had Mike Ford.
Okay, is that Darian Grubb?
No. Mike Ford so far has done better with Denny Hamlin than he did with Grubb. Than Grubb's doing. So, you know what? So you're saying that the driver doesn't have much to do with it?
No, the car does. The car and crew chief.
Yeah, it's only the car and crew chief. Anybody could sit down in those cars and race them.
Yeah, I don't lose the race. My car does.
But sometimes I set you up just to knock you down. Go on to
Rachel does it every week. I'm used to it.
Casey Kane has a new full-time spotter. The number 5, Casey Kane, finally has landed on a new full-time spotter in former driver Kevin Hamlin. Hamlin had been at Richard Childress Racing, working as a spotter for Clint Boyer on the Cup side until this year when he spotted for Ty Dillon in the Camping World Truck Series and Brendan Gaughan in the selected nationwide events. Hamlin had done 3 races for Kane as Kane tried out several different spotters over the last 3 months.
Good to see some consistency up on that spotter box.
It is great because, spotters are a huge role, I think, in this sport because these guys, in our sport, if we had spotters, there'd be less cars tore up in a spotter.
Oh, yeah.
Without a spotter up there, that's your eyes. That's your
you guys, down in your guys' series, you've got, what, 1 mirror?
We don't even have mirrors in our cars.
You don't have mirrors at all? I thought you had one as a rear view or a side mirror or something like that. No mirrors at all?
None.
That's ridiculous.
Ain't it nuts coming off the corner?
There's people coming down I-80, the interstate with, 4 mirrors, and they still can't merge right, and yet you guys are doing $1, maybe 75 down the corners.
We're driving by the seat of our pants at 125 mile an hour, and we have no mirrors, no spotters, no nothing. And it's not that I spin out. I just want to make sure I'm going the right way compared to the other cars.
You're working the track in. That's what you're doing. You're working the track in as you do couple little cookies.
Yep. They call me the cookie cutter.
It's the cookie monster.
Pillsbury Bud Boy.
Num, num, num. What's number 3?
Nummy, 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 nummy.
Oh, my God. We have gotten sidetracked.
Nummy, nummy, nummy in my tummy. Kurt Busch to Andretti Motorsports. Now, this is interesting. Rumors and speculation is swirling that Kurt Busch will be headed to Andretti Motorsports in 2013 to drive their first entry into the NASCAR circuit.
Now we have this on file. I said this about the beginning of the season that Kurt Busch was going to possibly drive for Andretti, and I said Casey Kahne was going to make the chase.
Why did you say that?
I just thought about
and
it right now.
I do believe Bud saying no. Kurt is an upstanding guy. He won't leave. He will not leave Phoenix Racing. He's going to stay there for a long term. I think you also said that Kurt was going to make the chase.
It just never ends with you.
When's the pink skirt and tub going on?
Oh, we might as well do it now because he's out of it.
You talk about dead horses on this show. I'm telling you.
Hey, you know what? You made the bet. You got to live in the bed.
Kurt Busch to Andretti Motorsports wouldn't be a bad deal. Andretti Motorsports is definitely going to have better equipment than what Finch does, but looking at the leadership that Kurt Busch can honestly bring to Finch, I think Finch would see the value in that. So I bet you Finch does put up a fight against Andretti, which he's going to lose because he doesn't have that kind of financial backing behind him.
Right. You mean Finch is going to lose in a battle to Andretti?
I would see Finch losing in that financial bet, or in that financial bet to Andretti Motorsports. So I could see him losing Kurt, but Finch ain't going to want to lose Kurt. Finch is going to want to re-sign Kurt because of what Kurt brings to the table. But
on to number 4, the big story of the day. Bob Osborne announced earlier this week he will be stepping down as the crew chief for the 99, and this is going to garner a lot of conversation. Now, formally, we'll get to that in a second. 2012 has not been the kind of year that the 99 team was looking for after they finished runner-up in the championship points to in the 2011 season. And Roush Fenway's number 99 has yet to win a race this season, and yet to win a race in quite a while, actually. It goes back to, the beginning of last year was the last time the 99 team sat in victory lane. Although they put together a heck of a lot of top 5s, top 10s last season, they just haven't seen it this season. And Bob Osborne, longtime crew chief for Carl Edwards and the 99 team, announced that due to continuing health issues, he will be stepping down as crew chief for the 99 and letting Chad Norris, who will take over effective immediately. Now, the NASCAR boys are off this week. They're not racing today. They're on a bit of a break, and next week they're going to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for probably the longest titled race, and we'll get to that in turn 4. But boy, I tell you what, this doesn't sound good for the 99 team.
It may not sound good, but I mean, as long as Osborne's been there, if he's got health issues, nobody here on the front stretch, we hope he gets better. The only thing I don't want to see happen is they're using the whole health issue thing as a mock-up.
Yeah, we saw that in college football with Urban Meyer when he tried to retire twice because of health issues, and then he came back, a month later and decided to coach for Florida, and then quit again for health issues, and then a year later he signs up with Ohio State.
If he has legitimate health issues, we wish him a speedy recovery and whatnot. But at the same time, maybe Osborne was getting a little nervous because we were all saying before we went to air today that Edwards hasn't really been setting nothing on fire this year.
And it is a trifecta. There are 3 factors that go into being a successful NASCAR driver up in the NASCAR circuit. You got to have a good driver.
Yep.
You got to have a good crew chief, and you got to have a good crew. If you have those 3 things, you can overcome a lot. And I'm not saying that Carl's not a good driver. I'm not saying Bob's not a good crew chief. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a good crew. I think just what we're saying is that it seems like this season something's off and it's not jiving. And hopefully it is Bob's health. Boy, that came out way wrong. Hopefully it is something that Bob is just able to fix with getting away from the pressures and the rigor of being a crew chief. Because let me tell you what, that is a difficult job being a crew chief.
Question I have for you, Dan, is did you get any info on this Chad Norris guy, where he came from, who he is?
I didn't get a chance to research it, but he's been with Roush Fenway for a long time. He's been a crew chief. He's got a lot of experience, so it's not a bad move for Carl. I just think, truthfully, I'm going to miss some of the radio chatter between Bob Osborne and Carl Edwards.
Oh, it was great chatter.
Because Carl being the eternal joker that he is and Bob being ever so serious, there was times when Carl would, I think there was one lap race where he was leading and dominating, and he comes over and says, fuel pressure down. And you could hear Bob pop on the mic and go, oh, are you serious? And Carl goes, nah, just messing with you.
I've always liked Carl Edwards on a red flag or a caution. Hey, can I come in and get a sub?
Yeah.
That's great.
So a big mix-up or a big change-up for the 99 team. Hopefully all goes well. And you know what? This could be the big change that needed. You look at what happened with, I know we talk about him a lot because he's our favorite driver, but when you look at what happened with Tony Stewart, right when him and the organization informed Darian Grubb that he would not be returning is when they really started knocking off the wins.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe this is the mix-up they needed. That not necessarily that Bob's not a good crew chief, but just that something was off this year, and you make that change, that chemistry change that really sparks a big drive.
And this might, like you said, this is going to kick them in the butt maybe. I mean, definitely Bob and Carl have been together forever, which is kind of a sad deal. They're going to be separated, but that's what happens in all sports and in all situations. But maybe this Chad guy's going to come in and say, hey, let's get serious here. It's time to start winning races.
Here's the question I want to ask you guys is a trivia question, and I'm asking you two. Name the longest tenured crew chief, active crew chief and driver combination.
Right now, that's still going?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be Knaus and Johnson?
It's Knaus and Johnson. They've been together for, 7 years, 8 years? There isn't a crew chief driver combination that's much over a couple of seasons.
No.
That is an astounding stat.
Yeah, but I think that really speaks as to why Johnson is as good as he is. I mean, I'm sure Chad Knaus would probably tell Jimmy Johnson, hey, man, you need to go pee.
Well,
there.
As good as both of them are together, those two, that's the biggest thing, is that those two have chemistry together.
Absolutely.
They know exactly what the other means when they say something on the radio, when they do codes between them. You could tell when you listen to these chatter that there's code going on between the two, and that's something we talked about in turn one with Denny Hamlin and Darian Grubb. They're just not there yet.
No, but I could definitely see them. Give them a year or two. If they're still together, I could definitely see that.
Oh, yeah. So what's number 5, our final 5?
Oh, date is set for Allmendinger, the dinger, for his B sample test. You know, when he peed in a cup and came back, ding, ding, hey, you're busted. Tomorrow is the date that NASCAR and AJ Allmendinger, the dinger, have set to have the B sample retested. AJ has also stated that he will be taking his own experts to the testing process to oversee it, make sure there are no mistakes.
I want to ask you guys this question, too. The issue with Jamie McMurray when he had, not Jamie McMurray.
Jeremy Mayfield?
Jeremy Mayfield, thank you. Drew a blank.
I got the question right.
Thank you. Yay!
Yay!
The issue with him was that he felt that NASCAR saw that it was a negative sample, but still told him it was positive, and he didn't believe their results, primarily because he went and tested the next day with an outside source, and they said you're perfectly clean. Do you think this is AJ Allmendinger going, maybe I better take a page out of his book, and I've already forgotten his name again. Good Lord.
Jeremy Mayfield.
Thank you. Out of Mayfield's book, and saying it might not be a bad idea for me to bring my own guys in.
You know, when you're making a lifestyle as a NASCAR driver and you're subject to random drug test, if Andrew over here is NASCAR and he goes, bud, we need a pee test, randomly, it's just rules, all right. Well, he comes back, I know I haven't done nothing wrong that day. And he goes, well, your sample came back positive. You're going to be suspended indefinitely. Well, of course, I'm going to ask for my B test. But, yeah, you damn sure right. I'm going to bring my own experts in. All right, you test my pee. I'm going to have my guys test my pee. Let's see what my pee does. I just want to see the end result.
I hope we don't ever have to find out what your pee does.
No kidding. So that's your Fast 5 stories that dominating the NASCAR world. We're halfway through the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in just a few minutes to talk with Jace Kaiser, driver of the 15 late model out of I-80 and McCool Junction. This is the Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.